All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless me here again, talking about real music and real issues and real people and really crappy written articles, and doing so in real time for real people just like you right there and just like me right here. So every single day, there's an article about Ted Nugent somewhere, every single day. And this is why I think I was so busy defending Ted Nugent a few months ago, and I stopped doing it. Ted was on the show, and I felt as though, well, I can't top that, right? And then it started happening again. That was just about Joan Jett, which is kind of a minor thing considering the world's going to hell. And all Nugent was saying is, look, I don't think she's a better guitar player than this person or that person. And of course, everybody thought, Ted was bashing on Joan Jett for her lifestyle choices, the things that she's done in her life, the fact that she's a woman. I don't know, but that's the usual stuff. And it happens every day. It's a weird thing that you can't just critique somebody on their ability or on the merits. No, it has to be some other reason. It's because Nugent, he was a draft dodger, and he's debunked that like 50 times. By the way, personally, I think the draft is unconstitutional and always has been, because, you're supposed to be able to pursue happiness, and you really can't pursue happiness if the government is forcing you to go to war somewhere. And by the way, typically, I would say since World War II, America has been on a lot of fool's errands. We just run around the world. We do this, I think, more for the weapons manufacturers here in the United States. We do it because we think it's going to solve our economic problems. We'll start making things again. The only things we make are like ammunition and tanks and so forth. And that's great. That's just super. But there are a lot of people who are really suffering. Oh, and if we can't do this, like ourselves, then we'll send $50 billion over to Ukraine. Meanwhile, you can't find baby formula, and it's just amazing. And we can't get our own energy. That's too much work. We need someone else to get energy for us and then send it here, because that's way more cost effective. By the way, if you notice, the corpse in chief the other day said that we're going through a transition. Funny, nobody told me that we were going through a transition. I thought, we stopped pumping oil out of the ground, and we aren't doing new leases, and we're certainly not into having pipelines, right? And, we're on like an ocean of natural gas, but apparently we're not going to go get it, even though natural gas is one of the cleanest forms of energy out there. But hey, when you're going to transition, you got to quit cold turkey, basically. And that's what we're doing. And that's why we're breaking records when it comes to gas prices. Anyway, I went a little off because I wanted to talk about Ted Nugent, because they're all getting bent out of shape here. During one of his live streams, if you haven't watched Nugent do a live stream, pretty cool stuff. You should subscribe to Ted. If you're going to subscribe to me, please subscribe to all things Ted Nugent, because he's like 50 times smarter than me. And he's been around a little bit longer. He just knows more about all kinds of stuff, not just music, but the music stuff is pretty cool. Anyway, during one of his live streams, Ted Nugent revealed why he cried in the morning. Okay. The title of this article is Ted Nugent Admits Bursting into Tears Due to the State of the U.S. Government. That's actually a pretty decent headline, because I think a lot of people are crying over the current state of the government. He stated that he was working on new episodes of his nightly Nuge and spending time with his dogs and wife. Although he had a lovely day, Nugent said he burst into tears after thinking about the good American warriors the government sent to death since World War II. All right. Now, he may have been doing a Memorial Day special, right? He may have been talking about Memorial Day, which, again, the rock community typically doesn't. I did a video about that. They're kind of MIA. They're kind of really quiet. There are other holidays, quote unquote, or special days that, the rockers like to get involved with and talk about, but they don't talk too much about Memorial Day. The controversial rocker. Now, why is Ted Nugent controversial? Anybody? Anybody out there? Bueller over there, Bueller. You know why he's controversial? Because he doesn't do what everybody else does. He doesn't talk like everybody else. He doesn't think like everybody else. He's got his own opinions. He, I guess, might be considered patriotic. He might like the country. He might think that merit and hard work and, like he likes to say, what is it? Logic and common sense, all those sorts of things, the things that we no longer have for the most part. Nugent might think those things are good, right? According to Nugent, he was talking about the USS Cole bombing and the Beirut bombing and 9/11. And holy crap, Batman, you can't have your own theories about those things. During the live stream, Ted Nugent said the following. Do you know why I cried this morning? I just finished taping a bunch of nightly Nuge episodes, and I've been out with Happy, Sadie, Coco, and Shemaine all day. So I had a wonderful day, and I bawled my eyes out this morning, not because I thought of all the dead bodies that charged into that evil during World War II. I cried very emotionally this morning since World War II, the corrupt, demonic, power-abusing, oath-violating Uncle Sam's military, industrial, and congressional complex has sent good American warriors to their death for no damn reason at all. So we were attacked on 9/11 because we let our guard down. We are a bunch of spoiled felines, okay? He used a different word. Our government let us down and allowed 9/11 to happen. Oh no, oh no, did Nugent, did he go full conspiracy theory on us? Oh my goodness, we should just accept what happened, on 9/11. We should just accept the JFK assassination. We should just accept the Gulf of Tonkin episode. How many other things should we just accept? Oh, the lab theory, right? There's no lab. I don't know what you're talking about. And in Ukraine, there are no biolabs over there either. You should just erase what you just heard. Well, we have biological training facilities, or we have biological research facilities over in Ukraine. Unreal, people, unreal. So they're all upset because Nugent says he cried, right? He being honest, maybe he didn't cry, maybe he did. He probably did, for crying out loud. It's kind of like having the weight of the world on your shoulders. They say the more you know, the more sorrow you're going to have because you know too much, With great knowledge comes great sorrow. And this guy isn't like your average rocker. He's not, because he's kind of a Renaissance guy. He's into hunting. He's into like writing. He's into art. He's into all these different things. He's a true Renaissance man. And, he can hunt for his own food. He could be a sheriff. He could just put on a badge. He could be a bounty hunter if he wanted to be. This guy is a jack of many things, right? Not of all trades, but of many trades. And he's good at most of them. That's what's pretty cool about Ted Nugent. I don't think people understand. I think they listen to him talk, and he's so countercultural. And this is the crazy thing about living in the year 2022. If you talk about merit or hard work or ingenuity or entrepreneurial spirit, pick any topic that we used to just normally accept, American exceptionalism. I will say this about American exceptionalism. America is no longer an exceptional country. We are just a mediocre country. At one point, we believed in those things and we did those things, but we haven't done those things for a very long time. So when anyone says, well, we're an exceptional country, no, we're not, because of our politicians, because of our courts, because of a failure of all three branches of government, really. And you have no recourse. You have nowhere to go. oh, you have no standing here. You know, after what happened in 2020, you go to court and they say, oh, sorry, we don't see it. You know, it's a state's issue, and the states won't listen to you, and nobody is going to take up your cause. Nobody. So it's getting to be very scary. And I think Nugent is sounding the alarm, and he's seeing what's over the hill, what's over the horizon. So I don't think this is odd and weird that Ted Nugent broke down and cried about this. And so what, right? But they make it, this is the story that Ted Nugent cried, right? Okay, all right, well, other people have lied and people have died. You know, I used to hate that. You know, Bush lied and people died. Remember that? Let's rewind the tape. Yeah, that's what happened, by the way. And it's still happening today. It's still happening. We're just sending our money overseas. We're not doing a direct hot kinetic war, but we're having someone else do it on our behalf, right? And you wanted a new world order? Guess what? You got one. You got Russia, China, India, Brazil, Hungary, a couple other countries in there that are just like, nope, we're not doing this. You know, we kind of need the Russian energy and the Russian fertilizer and the Russian wheat. I mean, talk about a self-imposed injury, you know, self-inflicted wound. But, you know, most people don't care. And they're in a fog, you know, because again, you got the 6 major media companies that own everything, and they have their tentacles really in with all the other stuff that's owned by just a few people. And if you follow the money, it all goes back basically to the same place, right? The giant corporation known as the federal government, which now has, you know, what do they call them? NGOs that go out and do all of their bidding. Yeah, we'll give you a contract if you round up these people and put them in this place and get them at the border. And don't even get me started. You know, all that stuff down in Uvalde, right? There's some weird stuff going on there. And there's a story beyond what the media has talked about here. Just like in Buffalo, when that incident happened, they didn't really talk too much about the guy who did it. They had an initial report about his profile, but then they kind of backed away a little bit because he was one of those guys who we're funding over in Ukraine. He's got the same profile, and nobody seems to have a problem with what we're doing over there in Ukraine. They think it's great, support the people of Ukraine. Okay, do you know which people you're supporting? Do you know what Azov means? Look it up. And once it was revealed the Buffalo person had ties to all of that, it became, oh, well, this doesn't fit our profile. This is supposed to be some angry guy from Alabama, you know, who went on a rampage, and it's not. So this is what's going on in our country today. And there's so many different things happening all at once. And one thing happens, it distracts you from the other thing that you were focused on. And you can't even focus. Like, there's no baby formula. Gas prices are at record highs. People, after the last 2+ years, many of them are depressed, suicidal, drinking too much, doing too many substances. Go down the list of things. And all of this collateral damage for something that was like 0.7% of a problem if you did nothing, if you did zero. And now here we are. And there's so many other problems that we added to it. And this obsession with calling Nugent out, for instance, because he supported Trump. Here's the deal. I'm going to wrap up with this, okay? A sanitation worker, a McDonald's burger flipper, I don't know, anybody who cleans toilets, right? All of those people could do a better job as president of the United States than the knucklehead that is in there currently. All right, any of those people, if you gave them like a questionnaire, like a multiple choice, a yes or no thing to fill out, they would get a better score than the corpse that's there now, 100%. All right, so when people go, oh, Donald Trump was this, okay, Donald Trump, like him, hate him, whatever you want to say about Trump, The people who love him might even love him a little bit too much for my liking. I'm just like, okay, he's a man. He's not going to solve world hunger, right? He's not Jesus, right? He's just Donald Trump. But somebody who could maybe make a decision, whether you like the way he, spoke to you, whether you like his speaking style or his tweeting style, or whatever it is you didn't like about Trump. Here's the deal. There are a lot of people that could do a better job right now running the country than the guy who is in there right now. And I'm talking about your common man, your common woman, your everyday person who can think and critically think and use common sense and say, hey, why are we sending $50 billion to a foreign country? We have no baby formula. Right? Right? Is that hard? It is now. So Ted Nugent has every right to have a nervous breakdown. I don't know if it was a nervous breakdown, but just, you look at all of the problems and it's a heavy burden. And the more you think about it, the heavier it seems to get. And people are like, okay, what can we do about it? Courts don't work. Congress doesn't work. Executive branch obviously doesn't work. All these things don't work. So you got your states, and some of those states are working okay. But then you have these battles within the states. You have these pockets of insanity. You might have a great state, but then you have got this pocket of insanity. I'll call it a city, all right? Some city, which is, dense in population, is going to call the shots for your county and your state and everywhere, because the concentration of idiots, right, are making everybody else's voice silent. And then there's corruption. There's tons of corruption because they want the voice of the people that have the common sense. They want that voice to be silenced. They want them banned, censored, doxxed, humiliated, right? All of those things. And it's amazing. All of this stuff just, it's a heavy duty burden. And Nugent probably said this in passing, and then stupid media outlets, they're going to jump on it. Oh, the tough guy had a breakdown. What's the matter with the tough guy? The tough guy is speaking for millions of people who likely feel the same way. And the stuff he talked about, the so-called conspiracy theories, oh man, if you had a media, right, these are all stories that you could win Pulitzer prizes and everything. But then again, the person that's giving away the Pulitzer Prize, they probably are thinking to themselves, this isn't a good story. Go find out more about Dr. Fauci. He's the one you should be doing a story on because he's the greatest person that's ever lived. I hear this in certain circles and I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. And this is how far we are apart from each other. We don't relate to each other. The people who have the blinders on, it's like you can't get them off. The people who are truly awake, not woke, but awake, those people feel like they're living on another planet. And they want those other people, you can do your own thing, just leave me out of it. I mean, I think the country needs a divorce. I think certain states need to be their own territories, their own countries, and other states need to be separate. And maybe you can mutually coexist and so forth. But, I live in Florida. I would take Florida over any country or any state. I was going to say any country, but at least any state in the union, and over most countries. I'm fortunate. But if I was living in California, I'd be finding a U-Haul. The U-Haul rentals, I guess, in California are hard to come by. In any event, people, I know that was pretty long-winded and crazy. I just can't believe the focus on Ted Nugent. I guess I can because nobody else says anything interesting. They all just walk in lockstep. They all celebrate, oh, the government says to do X. Well, I'm doing X. I'm raising money, and then I'm going to send it to another country. I'm not going to send it to homeless people here in the United States. I'm going to raise money, and we're just going to get rid of it. Oh, you can't pay your energy bill. You can't pay your power bill. You don't have enough air conditioning. You don't have enough heat. Oh, well, send the money over to Ukraine. That's where it's going to be well spent. You wonder why Ted Nugent is crying. A lot of people right now are crying, and it's pathetic. And this is collateral damage. This is collateral damage, and this is going to ripple out there for years and years to come. And it's just really sad and depressing to watch. But I'm here. I'm documenting it all, and I'm not the only one. There are more of us than you think, and we'll continue to do what we do, because you got to do something. Otherwise, you're dead at that point. If you stop, you're dead. So you got to keep going.